All right, did you know that the average age difference between straight couples in the U.S. is about 2 years? That's according to data from a research data company. And joining me now to discuss the pros and the cons of an age gap in relationship is research psychologist Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. So, pros and cons of an age gap in a relationship. Are there good things and bad parts of this?
Yes, absolutely. There are good things and there are bad things in any relationship. But when we look at this, the perspective is that it is helpful to be able to learn from one another. So that is something the age gap does for you, as well as maturity. The more mature person will help you to be calmer, will help you to solve problems. And then there's a social aspect of this as well, because socially speaking, it's more diverse. You get to interact with all kinds of age groups. Well, not too young, I hope. But, we're talking about 5, 10, 15-year difference couples that have been very successful with their lifestyles. So it does work.
And we're talking mostly about romantic relationships.
Yes.
Is there a benefit to this with friendship relationships?
Our friendship relationships are different because there are different levels. A relationship that's intimate, husband, wife, or partner, what happens with that is you see each other a lot, and the interaction is more in depth. So with friendships, that can happen, but on a different level. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what is the key to making a romantic relationship with an age gap work?
Well, the number one thing is that you have to be able to listen to each other, to be flexible. Like any relationship, you have to also know that that power that one person has over you that's more mature has to be looked at and dealt with, because that can end up being a negative. The maturity level as well, if one person's more mature than the other, then what happens with that is that you feel as if you have to be involved with somebody else's lifestyle. So that's another problem. And when you're looking at the lifestyle, there are different stages that you're going through. So those stages have to be dealt with as well. So there's the pros and the cons of what this is about the age gap that works and what doesn't work.
So are you saying what's going to make it work is if you don't try to have that struggle of the other person fitting into your life, but in fact, if you live your lives together and enjoy what makes you compatible?
Yes, absolutely, equally. You should both be independent of each other as well. And then, like any relationship, it involves respect. It involves listening to the other person. A meeting of the minds is one of the biggest attractions, aside from love, of course. But then when you have that meeting of the mind, that age gap becomes less significant than you having similarities in common, that you enjoy doing things together.
Yeah, great tips. So these, obviously, we're talking about adult relationships.
Yes.
Sometimes teenagers might get into relationships with an age gap. So any parents that might be watching, what would your tips or warning be for a teenager who's starting to date?
Well, that's absolutely different because we're talking
Right.
about underage. Kids that are 17 and younger, you have to be very careful. 17-year-old with going out with a 30-year-old is different than somebody who's 40 and going out with a 50-year-old who's much more mature.
Right.
So we need to really monitor our children and see what they're doing and who they're going out with and what that actually means and what that involves. And sometimes they even need supervision as well, because they really don't have the ability to do the right things for themselves. And you have to be careful that a stranger may lead them into doing something that could be harmful, dangerous, smoking, alcohol, you name it. So those are situations that really have to be monitored.
Yeah, and I think there's a big difference when we're talking about, people in different grades in grade school
Yes.
versus just an age difference at an older adult age. Is there an
Yes.
age that you think it's appropriate to start dating for teens?
Teens start dating in high school. Let's face it, they have
Yeah.
girlfriends, boyfriends. I have teenagers. One is dating. they're twins. One is not. One thinks girls are blah, and the other has a girlfriend that's going to be a lifetime pursuit, as he tells me. So they're in,
I
what
love
I'm
it.
saying, they're in different areas of their life. And, what do they do that is interesting is that they go to football games together, they socialize in groups together. And yes, it starts in high school. And by the way, sometimes these kids that are pretty big right now, but sometimes they end up in really serious relationships with each other as they get to know each other more. And young relationships can last, and research has shown that they often last even more than older relationships. So we do have to give these kids some credit. They often do pick nice people, and those people grow with them together, and they have a beautiful life together in college if they do go and beyond.
Yeah, and then you have a deeper connection. That's an interesting point. Okay, so on the flip side, before I let you go, on the flip side, though, we're talking about youth in dating. What about older age? Is it important to have romantic relationships into old age?
As long as we're alive, we need somebody in our lives. Companionship. They say loneliness
Yes.
is like drinking, no, smoking a half a pack of cigarettes a day. Would you believe that? So everybody needs a partner in their life to talk to at the end of the day, some kind of companionship, compatibility together, to have that to look forward to. It's very hard not to have somebody to vent to or even to blame. I mean, I've been married a long time. I'm very good at blaming my husband, but if I couldn't, I would miss that. So yes, where is he? I have to find him. I have something the weather today, yes. Knowing this afternoon
I have something
in
to
New
blame him
Jersey.
for right now.
But other than that, yes, companionship is important all through life into your 90s and beyond. Absolutely. We all need somebody to be compatible with at every age of our lives.
I think that's beautiful, especially as we are learning more about the loneliness epidemic that's happening
Yes.
in our country.
That's true.
Yeah, we should have you back to talk about just loneliness by itself.
Okay, I shall do that. Thank you.
All right.
Good idea.
Dr. Frida
My
Birnbaum,
next
research
topic.
psychologist. Yeah, we'll see you then for our next topic. We'll talk about that
My
exactly.
pleasure. Love you. Thank you so much for the great interview.
Yeah,
Thank you.
have a great day.